we are going to have to take money from government debt or taxation and distribute it to those who cannot afford to pay their bills. If not, people will die.
Let's go now to Martin Lewis, money-saving expert, joins us this morning. Morning, Martin.
Yeah, morning. I'll say morning, not good morning. I mean, it is a horrendous morning.
It is a horrendous morning. I mean, the fact that we knew that this was coming doesn't make it any easier, does it?
Well, it should have done, shouldn't it? I checked the other night a transcript of my show from March, where I said in the phrase, and it is likely in October we will see the price cap rise above £3,000, just to give you a level of the forewarning that we had. We then had in May forward guidance from Ofgem at £2,800, which was enough for the government to do a package on at the time. There is no reason it could have not asked for forward guidance again and done another package sooner. The fact that we have this not surprising but still shocking announcement today and no government plan in place is frankly irresponsible. I, with a different hat on, chair the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute charity. The mental health risk to many vulnerable people of having an announcement like this without having any firm plan for helping from the new Prime Minister is wrong, and it should not have happened. But we have to look forward and see what help will come rather than what help should have been announced already.
And I suppose the thing is, if we knew that help was coming or some detail of the help was coming, that might help. But I mean, I'm literally right now, I'm looking at Liz Truss's Twitter account. As Prime Minister, I'll work flat out to deliver energy affordability and security. I will take decisive action to grow our economy, cut taxes and fix the problems at the heart of this energy crunch at their source. None of those things are going to help with people when their bills go up on October the 1st, are they?
Well, they will probably help me because I'm quite a high earner and wealthy.
Yeah, you and I will get a tax cut.
Yeah, exactly. So, woohoo, whoop-de-doop. The real problem is the people who we are most worried about, the people whose physical and mental health is at risk, frankly, whose lives are at risk due to this catastrophic rise. And I've had attacks from some of the press for catastrophizing this issue. I have only catastrophized it because it is a catastrophe. Are the most vulnerable, and many of those don't earn enough to pay income tax. So cutting income tax won't help. And cutting the green levy will be about 150 quid. But I was just doing some numbers, which I think put this all into perspective. In May, the government announced a decent help package, and I do think it was decent at the time, based on a predicted 42% rise in the October to April energy price cap, which was then thought it would take a typical bill to 2,800. Now, the key in that phrase is October to April, because since Ofgem, and in the consultation document, we objected to this, has shortened the price cap period to 3 months. So the current October price cap will only last until the 1st of January. The prediction is on the 1st of January, we will have another 51% rise, taking the price cap for those on typical bills to 5,380 quid a year. I mean, just unthinkable. So much bigger, more than half a full state pension. So if I go back to contrasting with May, that was a 42% rise. The average rise over the same 6-monthly period that was meant to help is now looking like it will be 126%. Yeah. £4,460 on average of a typical bill. So that is a gap of £1,460 over a year, although this is a 6-month period, more than the help packages that were in place were expected to deal with. And of course, even after April, we expect next year, I don't expect to see prices come down to any substantial amount. So that is the gap, that is the shortfall. Now, that amount of money is simply unsustainable for many pensioners who live off the state pension and who have higher energy bills, many people on universal credit, many people on benefits, many people with disabilities or whose children have disabilities, and many in work on lower incomes. And frankly, it is still a substantial lifestyle hit to many on middle incomes too. So the worry that this is causing is magnificent. Yeah. It's magnificent in the worst way. And frankly, to have allowed this to happen without, at the same time as they did back in May when they announced what they thought it would be and they announced a help package, is really bad politics and is bad for people. But we have to move past that. And I am now praying and pleading and begging with Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak on the day you get into office. You need to give people firm plans and some peace of mind about this, because this isn't about cutting back. This isn't about minimising your bills. Those things simply will not scratch the sides of this. The only thing that can help the most vulnerable and many on lower and middle incomes is government intervention. And frankly, that means redistributive intervention. Let's be really straight. Energy bills don't rise that much the more you earn. So it's roughly a poll tax. We are going to have to take money from government debt or taxation and distribute it to those who cannot afford to pay their bills. If not, people will die.
Martin, and I hope that message has been heard loud and clear from the people who so far haven't been seen anywhere. One thing I wanted to ask you about, it came up in a talk to someone a bit earlier on. Throw into this the working from home thing. You know, it's one of the big changes as a result of the pandemic is more people working from home. And anybody who's done that knows that you end up putting your gas heating on, rather than you using your bosses. And somebody raised this question of whether employers start trying to get, because their energy bills are going up, employers start trying to get their staff to work from home more, which actually pushes up their bills more. Do you think that this is going to become a problem in the next few weeks?
I think that's, if I'm really honest, I suspect it's relatively trivial. The costs of keeping an office warm are not the big issues affecting businesses generally, because I mean your office is in proportion to the number of staff. It's factory and production type costs, and it's worth remembering as well. While the energy price cap is just relevant for England, Scotland, Wales, not Northern Ireland, and consumers. So this sudden jump in bills we will see isn't what happens to businesses, because they tend to be on contracts and there's no cap there. So it's just when their current contract ends, they're already seeing those rises. So you don't have the same timing issues on business contracts that you do with consumer contracts, if that makes sense. Yeah,
that does make sense. Thanks for that, Martin. And just finally, because you're normally your man we come to and you've got some great sort of literally money-saving experts, money-saving tips. Are we at the point now where, without being rude, your tips are irrelevant and it is all about government intervention, that no amount of £50 here and it's all handy, but it's not like you said, it's not going to touch the sides?
For those on the lowest incomes and the most vulnerable, absolutely. And I've been out of tools for months, as are most of the debt crisis agencies and the likes of National Energy Action. You can look for the grants, you can talk to your energy firm, you should be doing all that. For those who can afford the bills, there's reduction in energy use. I published about 5 months ago. I felt sick doing it. I didn't want to do it, but I got my team to research a guide called Heat the Human, Not the Home, for people who can't afford central heating, talking about, USB plugged in gilets that people can wear that are actually more efficient at heating an individual because people can't afford to turn the heating on. Terrible for the structure of your home. But I mean, it's a desperation guide. And of course, people who've got money, we can save them on broadband, we can save them on water bills, you can save them on a whole host of other things. But on energy, there's no competition in the market. The energy market is dead at the moment. There are occasionally cheap fixes that are worth some looking at. I mean, just think of this. At the moment, the maths looks like if you can find a fix that is no more than 115%, so over double more than the current price cap, the maths looks like that will save you money. I mean, and there aren't even that many that cheap available. Certainly there are none on the open market. A few companies may be offering them to existing customers. What a bloody farce, eh?
Well, yeah, then we could both probably use worse language than that, Martin. But Martin, it was really good to speak to you. Thank you for coming on. We'll keep in touch with Martin Lewis, the money-saving expert.